Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Captain Creativity. I am your host, David Merel, and joining me today is my son, William, and otherwise known as Commander Coding. Will, what are we doing today?
We are unboxing a 3D printer called the A1 Mini.
All right, let's get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get yourself some scissors, and I am going to go up here and go ahead and cut it. But I wanted to show you the unveiling. The first thing you're going to notice is that it has these wing tabs that are on the side. And all you really have to do is kind of just put this on the floor and pull it straight out. Definitely a one-person job, but if you're by yourself and you're not that strong, you really kind of need to have a second person push down the box while the other person pulls out the unit. Let's see, what do we got to work with here? All right, so why don't we go ahead and start stripping this open. Why don't we go ahead and first save all the pieces out of there? Let's go get the tool kit.
And this toolkit is very important for unboxing it. So
Don't lose it.
yeah, don't lose it. And you have to watch the full video so that you know exactly what to do and you will be an expert.
Very good, Will. Now that we've unpacked our printer, we're at the last stage where we just have to snip some wires. So the first thing we're gonna do is take out the foam. This is where I recommend getting a pair of snippers. This is gonna make life a lot easier, especially for kids. Just be careful because they're kind of sharp. So, Will, why don't you do the honors of snipping off the tie wraps? Okay, very good.
That sounds fun.
All right. Now let's take off this piece here. Okay.
Oh, no.
All right. Now, one of the things we're going to notice, right, is where we have a manual over here, okay, right? And we have some warnings, okay. And we have one more piece of foam that we're going to just pull out. And just be gentle when you pull on anything, right? Okay, so Will, I think the first step is we have to remove those 4 screws that are holding this whole thing when it comes out of the packaging.
So what we want to do is we want to open the tool packet.
Okay, here we go. And which one are we going to use?
Then you want to get out the biggest screwdriver.
Right.
It looks like this. It's pretty big. And yeah, just snap it out of the box. Don't take this small one and take the big one.
Okay.
And what we're supposed to do is put the screwdriver in these holes for these plastic. And then what we want to do is we want to turn it left until the screwdriver pops out. And it's okay that once you do it, and if the screwdriver falls and you can't find it, it is okay because we are not using them for anything else. It's just to unscrew it.
go ahead and you put it in, you really want to line it up straight. You don't want to go on an angle here and an angle here and an angle here, because that's going to make it very hard for you to screw things in and out.
Next two screws will be at the end of the at the end right here.
Okay, very good.
You're gonna want to just keep doing it.
So at this part, you're removing the other two screws over here and over here. So you'll have, we already removed one here and one here. And now William is removing one over here and one over here in the corner. All right, so now that he's removed that last screw, this whole plate should come off really easily. And there you go. So the whole plate comes out. That's garbage. You don't need to keep this anymore. There is no use for this. All right, so with that being done, now the next part is we have to actually, if you recall, we have to actually tighten the screws on the corners of the bed. There are three corners of the bed. There's this corner, and this corner. And so what we're going to do is we're going to turn it on its side, and I am going to, yeah.
And what we want to do is we are not going to do it left because that'll loosen the screws. We want to do it right to tighten it. Because people say lefty-loosey for screws, but we want to go righty-tighty.
That's right, righty-tighty, exactly. So we actually have to tighten these screws right now. So
but
there,
just a little, so don't over-tighten it.
That's right. Once you start feeling resistance on the screw, that's when you know basically to stop. If it doesn't go anymore, just stop. You definitely don't want to feel your handle bending. Let's put it that way.
And if you accidentally go left and the screws pop out, just put them back in and turn them right for a little while until they start getting really tight.
Yeah, hopefully you don't go that far in the wrong direction though. All right, now that we've gone ahead and we've tightened all the screws, we're going to go ahead and install the purge wiper. The purge wiper looks like this item right over here, and we're going to install that right over here. You're going to look inside your tool set, and you're going to look for one of these packages, and it will actually say right over here, it does say it, what does it say? For a purge wiper.
And there's also only one screw in it.
Okay, all right, so let's begin. So go ahead and why don't you install that into there?
The other way, I can't tell.
Nope, nope, it goes in, well, yes, you are correct. It does go the other way, facing out. There you go, perfect. Now at this point, you're gonna go ahead now and install the screw going up, okay?
Just in case you have like big hands and like you're a grown-up and you have kids that are like 4 years old, just ask them to open the bag for you.
Got the screw ready?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead, take the, put the screw in.
Right here?
Yep, from underneath. Do you remember that? There you go. All right, so now Will is taking the screw that he found from that plastic bag, and he's actually screwing it in. I'm just going to make sure it's tight and that there's no more give. And once it is screwed in, you just slide it right through the back, and you take the one screw, and you just tighten it, and it's all set. So now the Purge wiper is installed. So at this point, we have the Purge wiper installed, and now we're up to putting in the spool holder, right? So why don't we go ahead and get the piece for the spool holder? Now that we've gone ahead and installed the spool holder, it's time for us to do the last part before we start turning this thing on. And that is installing the PTFE tube, otherwise known as the filament tube. It comes in the bag, and basically it's really simple. You just essentially have to plug one end over here. Let's see if we can turn that around. Okay, so we plug one end over here, and then the other end should actually, now it's interesting. This is the part that I found very, very interesting. So many of the instructions when they first come out for the A1 Mini, they all came in combo units. And so everybody was confused. Okay, well, what if you want to use it with the spool holder? Which one do you do, right? Yeah. So it turns out that you really could put it either in what they say, either spot 1 or 4. So I'm assuming this one over here is called 4, and this one is spot called 1. So we're going to go ahead and put it into spot number 1, which should be, if you're looking straight at your A1 Mini, it's the one on the left. Okay? So, Will, why don't you go ahead and push that in until you feel some pressure. Wait for me. All right. Okay, so Will is now pushing that in, and you really only push it in until you feel some pressure, and you'll know that you put it in because it doesn't come out so easily. So that's good. That's perfect. All right. Good job. The tube goes over there, and it comes around, and it goes right into the front left corner. Now, it used to be some people had pictures where it was over here. According to the instructions, we're able to see that it can go either into 1 or 4. So basically 1 or 4. And I believe that one is 4. So we're going to put it in here, and this step, I'm going to have Will here pull off the plastic film for the camera. So Will, why don't you go ahead and pull off the plastic here, this piece over here for the light, as well. Yeah, go ahead, just pull that off. We don't need that. And go ahead and see if there's a plastic on there anymore. Is there any plastic? Maybe this one doesn't have plastic. No. Nope, no plastic. Okay, so no plastic. All right. So this is also could be used as a privacy sensor, if I'm not mistaken. It could swing right across. I usually just pull it off. So William's favorite part. Will, go and do the honors. So
you want to, there's like a clear piece right here, and you just want to hold on to that with your fingers, and you want to pull like that.
Is that satisfying?
And it feels really good. Like sometimes you could get distracted by it because it feels so good, and you just keep putting it on and peeling it off.
Okay. All right.
Make sure you have a power cord with you.
All right. Well, plug it in.
And with the charger, you want to just plug it in like that.
Okay. Will, what's the next step?
And then you want to turn on the switch.
Okay.
To the other end. And then you see your thing and you press start. And for me, it's English because we're in America. And for us, we're going to press North America. And
okay, now it's next.
Connect the Wi-Fi.
Right, so now we have to connect the Wi-Fi. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit select Wi-Fi. And it's going to scan all my Wi-Fi connections. And I'm going to select the Wi-Fi. Have your kids enter in the password because honestly, this keypad is so tiny. Look, one finger covers like half the keyboard. This is impossible. It's almost like it's definitely intended for kids to do.
Even for me.
Okay, so now that the Wi-Fi is connected, you'll go on to the next screen in which it's going to ask you to scan the barcode in your Bambu Handy app. So I'm going to show you that right now. So scanning is actually relatively easy. All you really have to do is go over to devices, And why don't you hit that plus icon over there? Right over here. Okay, and now scan the barcode.
So once you do that, you want to put it near this. Oops. And to get it to work, so once you go on this app, you want to press that plus button. And then what you want to do is you want to put your phone close to this scanning thing, and then...
Oh, and it caught it. Sometimes it doesn't catch it, then turn on the light.
Yeah, turn on the light if it does not work.
All right, so now that we've got that, we're going to go ahead and read accept, confirm to bind.
Skip.
And then, no. Once it does that, once you bind it, it binds it automatically. So actually, what's interesting here, it says one more time, it gives you a warning, and it says to you, oh, make sure that you removed your plate over there on the Z-axis, right? And did we remove it?
Yep.
Yep, we did. All right, so we're going to hit confirm. And it says login successful, but you do have to press skip for some reason. And I think that is a firmware issue. But anyway, you get over here now to the calibration screen. And this is where it's going to start calibrating. So we're going to go ahead here now and hit start. And here we go. Okay, so we're not going to shake on the table now. Sit back. Okay.
And we're going to want to wait for an amount of time until it's done scanning. So if you want to know how long it'll take, it says current test speed, and you want that to get all the way there. But you also want to look at how much minutes it is.
So when the calibration starts, you're going to notice that the printer is going to start going back and forth and moving and vibrating. And the reason why it's doing all these things is it's picking up the environment that your printer is on. It's very important that during this phase, you're not touching the table. Now that the calibration is done, it's time for us now to load up the filament. And we were about to do that, but as soon as we were about to do it, it went ahead and prompted us with a firmware upgrade. And one of the things you always want to do is upgrade your firmware. Your firmware is going to tell your printer how to work. Okay, so, oh, there we go. All right.
Mario.
Yeah, Mario. All right, so now we're all ready to go. And it says that we're on the latest version over here. So that is good news. So now what we do to get our filament going is we're going to click filament and we're going to go ahead and load it up. So again, this is where kids' fingers are probably way better than adults' fingers, but here we go. So I'm actually using the Bambu Lab. This case, we're doing the regular PLA, PETG, PLA basic. I did, you say it? I did. PLA basic. And essentially, we're gonna, you could go ahead and specify the color. It's not really important, but we're gonna go ahead and do that. Now, all right, so what's happening now is it says it's gonna heat the nozzle up. And then you're going to cut the filament and pull the filament back. So this is the load filament. We're going to push the new filament into the extruder. Okay, so we could do that. So essentially what's going to end up happening is if you notice over here, right, we're going to load up the filament right over here, right? Mm-hmm. So why don't you go ahead and you could start loading it up already.
And if you...
You gotta push it up all the way, right?
When you do it, you want to push it up all the way until it gets to the nozzle. And then you just gotta...
And you can actually see through the tube, so you can see where it's going.
Yeah. And you also maybe want to do little by little. It makes it go much faster.
Okay, once you get resistance and you can't go anymore, you pretty much stop there.
All right.
Now, normally this would be a spool. It's a little bit messy. Obviously, we don't want it to get stuck, but we'll just leave it here on the table. Hopefully it doesn't get caught on anything. I think it will be fine. It's not really the greatest. Okay, so now what ends up happening is that it asks you, okay, well, do you see anything extruding from the corner there? And the answer is no, I do not see anything extruding yet. So what we're going to do is hit retry. And we're now go ahead and put some force into it. Remember, Will, when I told you to see if you feel it pulling it through? Yeah. So now start pushing it through. And just like now, kind of feel if it's actually taking the plastic. Okay, so now I can already see it coming out on the end. So I'm going to hit done. And when it's going, and you can see it's turning over there, it's putting in some filament. You can see it right over there. See? And the reason why they call it the poop chute is because as soon as it's done, it ejects it to the side. So I definitely recommend that on these printers, you want to keep like a little bucket or something, because these little poops that are going to shoot out.
Daddy, I'm gonna catch the poop.
Oh, well, it's too late. I caught it already. I got poop all over me. When we're done, it will eject the poop and it'll shoot it out, and then you're all done. And that's it. So now it's really just as easy for you to go ahead, choose the bend sheet over here, which we're going to do. We'll choose the bend sheet, and we're going to say print, and basically that's it. It's going to now print out this bend sheet, and it's like a video game.
Yeah.
Okay, the bedsheet came out great. Actually no stringing whatsoever. Lines are good, details good, overhangs are great. This is a phenomenal print. You could even make out the lettering on the bottom. It's really fantastic. And of course, I feel if I went with one of my PLA pluses, I think I probably would even get me even better results. Okay, so we're done now. We've completed our entire review. And I have to tell you, I'm very impressed. The benchy results were amazing. Will, what do you think about the A1 Mini?
So I think it's easy to set up. It's a good printer, and I especially recommend it for kids.
Well, there you go. You got it from the mouth of babes. And honestly, I would take it a step further. I would recommend it really for anybody. It's a professional printer at an amazing price. I mean, if you don't need to print more than 180 by 180 by 180 millimeters, then this will actually produce pretty amazing prints. And it works with a lot of different filament types. Obviously, if you want carbon fiber ABS, you're going to go with something that has an enclosure. But really, this was an amazing printer. I recommend it for everyone. If you are a teacher and you're looking to build out a makerspace, this is a no-brainer. This is absolutely an amazing printer for your lab. And honestly, whether it's like what Will said, whether you're a kid or a hobbyist or a professional, it really doesn't make a difference. This is an excellent printer. So anyway, thanks for watching.
And make sure you like and subscribe.
Yes, what he said.